Hello, everyone. Today we have 10 ghosts in the haunted house, and we're getting ready to make our 11th character. And I'm so excited with how this one's turned out. Now, we had a little accident with the 10,000-volt ghost. He fell and hit Scooby on the ear and broke one of his ears. So I'm going to have to fix that, and that's really a bummer. But everything's coming together really nice. I absolutely love how this is looking. I really, I mean, I'm still loving this tar monster. He's not cured. He's still, uh, like gummy, like soft, but I've not been keeping him out in the sun, so I probably should do that. And I've made some changes on stuff, but that we'll look at all that in another video. There's a lot of fun things that I am excited about. I'm going to try to put some lights in the house. I thought this house was too cool to not incorporate some actual lighting into it, so we're going to work on that sometime. And then, of course, do the mystery machine. There's a lot to still do, but I'm trying to just squeeze all these bad guys in before Halloween. So hopefully we'll get that done. I think we probably will. I'm getting a lot of these done way ahead of time. Actually, these videos are being done way before I'm actually getting them posted. But anyway, let's get on to the video so you can see what character I've done today. All right, so in the last video, I was going over this list and we spun the wheel to come up with these two characters. Um, Now, we did the gypsy, and the doll I used was supposed to be for one of these two characters here. So now I've not got a doll, to make into a character. So I'm going to have to find another doll to where I can make it into whoever this character's going to be, which we don't know that yet. I do have one for Kingston, which will come later. We'll make him later. But all right, so last video we did the gypsy. And then the other character that I spun the wheel and got was the witch doctor. And it actually landed on the green phantom, but I, didn't want to do that. So I spun it again and got the witch doctor. If you watch the last video, you'll get what I'm talking about. So anyways, I'm actually going to mark out the witch doctor, and we're actually going to stick with the original pick that the wheel landed on. Now, one reason for that is because the witch doctor, like I said, I don't even have a doll. Whoops, I bumped my camera. I don't have a doll for this character, and I don't have any more dolls left at all, actually. I mean, I do have one saved for this character, but I mean, unless I just take the time to order one or whatever, go out and try to find one, but I don't want to do that. So that's why I've gone back to the green phantom, because I can make him like I did the ghost to like the first one that I made that was the little white ghost. I'm going to grab him here. See, my idea for going back to the green phantom is I can make him like I did this. I don't actually have to have a body for that. I can just drape over some fabric and let the fabric do the work. So I just thought that would be easier, because if I do the witch doctor, he's going to have a body. And I don't have a doll for that. So, and that's like with the tar monster and the 10,000-volt ghost. They didn't have to have a doll body. I was able to make those out of wire. So I'm trying to think of a character, that I can do where I don't have to have an actual arms and legs and stuff like that. It's something I can actually make it from scratch myself, to where I don't have to worry about, a doll. And, the Green Phantom, there's actually two of those in that episode, but we're only going to make one. Now, there's also an episode where they have the same phantoms, but they are actually called the ice cream phantoms. And there's a pink, and he is the strawberry phantom. There's a white one, and he's the vanilla phantom. And then there's a brown one, and he's the chocolate phantom. And I may try to post a picture of that if I remember to do it here. But anyway, I thought I've got this brown fabric and I could do one of those and just have it the chocolate phantom because, I love chocolate. And I thought that would be a really cute idea. And I could make a little ice cream cone to go with him of chocolate ice cream. And I thought that would be a good idea because I didn't have the color of fabric for the green phantom, but I didn't really like the idea of making the chocolate phantom unless I do the strawberry and the vanilla phantom. So I decided no on that. So we're just going to truly stick with the green phantom. Now, I do have an actual costume for the green phantom that my daddy wore one time, and it is so big that I was able to actually just cut some of the fabric off the bottom. So this is like the perfect color for it. And I was debating on the chocolate phantom because I had the fabric and I didn't know I had green fabric until I thought about that costume. But then I thought, well, that's big enough. I can just cut a strip off the bottom, and then that'll give me enough to make the green phantom for the dollhouse. So anyways, with all this talking, I feel like I'm talking too much, but anyways, I've managed to find some fabric, and so that's what we're going to do today. We're basically just going to make it like the white ghost, and then of course he's going to look completely different, and he will have arms, but that's going to be made out of wire. But I'm just going to get all this together and we'll just see it as it's getting done. I've got this little armature made up, and I've kind of made it about as tall as the white ghost, which it's kind of hard to tell, but it's about the same size. And I've got little arms made out of wire, and I've made this part of the hand. This is like a hand I made, which they don't look really good, but they're gonna probably hopefully look better when I get it painted. But I'm gonna just, well, what I'm gonna do first is actually, I don't like how that's wobbly, so I'm gonna fill this full of hot glue to make it, more stable. But then I'm gonna put these little wire hands that I made. I'm trying to decide if I should make them the fingers longer, but I'm trying to keep in scale. So I think they'll be okay. I don't want to make them too big. I think they'll be fine once it's done. But I'm just going to wrap this around here. And the reason I made it out of a smaller wire is because, I had to get those little fingers, uh, you know, bent into that shape. And I would have never got it done with that thicker uh, wire, that silver wire. So I'm going to wrap these around. And what I'm going to do, like I said, I was going to hot glue those arms so they don't wobble around so much. And then I'm going to wrap each little finger and the arms in the green floral tape. And I'm going to do it with the green just so the paint will, it'll take less coats of paint. And if it does sort of scratch or chip off, it'll still be green. And that'll just bulk out this wire frame so it ain't going to just look like painted wire. So I'm going to wrap this up and glue this right here and then paint them up, and then we'll start draping the fabric. All right, so here's let me focus that a little bit better, if it will. All right, so there is the before and the after. That hand looks amazing. I mean, by wrapping it in the tape, the floral tape, it just gave it a much creepier look, and it made the fingers a little bit longer because that's really just the tape that you're seeing the tips, and then they actually kind of bend, but I wouldn't really necessarily recommend doing it. But I mean, I'm just going to pose them the way I want them, and then I'm going to Mod Podge and paint over these. I'm going to Mod Podge them and then paint over them the same color. I'm going to try to color match this fabric. But I just wanted to show how cool that little hand is looking, because that looks so creepy, and it looks so much like the hands on, the cartoon. And also, Scooby Doo chipped the tip of his ear off, and I am so mad about that. I'm just sitting here trying to chill and calm down, and I'm gonna have to redo that in a little bit, but ugh. So here's where we are now, and I've went ahead and put this little chain on his arm because they each had a little black chain hanging off their wrist, and that's just a chain that I found. It's a little big. It's not like, it don't look exactly like theirs, but it had this little ring that I was able to bend around his wrist, and I just liked it. I like the weight of it. I like the sound of it, and it looks pretty good. And that paint, I was able to find a paint. I actually had this already. It's called Tuscan Teal, and it's almost the exact color of the fabric. I mean, it's really, really close. I'm going to go in here and probably age those a little bit with some watered down black paint just to make them look a little more spooky, because I feel like they're a little too flat looking. But I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to, let me see, wet my fabric. Maybe, I don't know if I need to wet it or not, actually. I'm just going to take and cut some strips to put over his arms like this, and then just cut, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all he needs. He needs a couple on his arms, and then he needs one down over the body part to hide the head and stuff. So I'm just going to do that, probably just do it off camera, because there's really nothing special about that other than cutting some strips, and I'm literally just going to hang them over and kind of glue them so they stay kind of in place. And then I'll come back and we'll work on a face. So I decided to go through the struggle with you all. Instead of doing this alone, I'm going to actually try to do this quickly where you can see it, just because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm hoping I can drape this the way I want it draped, but I'm just going to try to glue it down where you just saw me put some glue, so that that kind of stays in like that. All right, so there's that. Now on this wire here, I'm going to kind of tack this piece just to keep it in place. And then I'm going to do the same. See, this is pretty easy. I thought it might be kind of hard, but I don't think it's going to be too hard, because I was trying to practice. I was trying to get it to do what I'm wanting it to do here. And all right, now I think I will, oh my gosh, look how good this is looking. All right, I think I'll go here and just kind of randomly stick it on there. All right, now one more piece. Yeah, and there's just no rhyme or reason. You just kind of throw it back in there. And that looks pretty good. Oh my gosh, that looks really cool. Now, I just want to make sure that this face is kind of flat, because I'm going to make his face out of felt, and I just want a nice flat spot to glue that when I start that part. So that don't have to look perfect right there. That's going to have his little mask put on there. Now I like the arms a lot. They've turned out really cool. All right, I don't like that, so I'm going to try to glue this back like that. That looks pretty good. Now for the arms, I've just cut out pieces like this, And I'm just going to kind of go along there. And I'm going to try to, I'm just going to, I don't know, just go down like that. That looks really good. Oh, look how good that looks. All right, so I'm just make sure his chain is out of the way. And go down the arm. And then take this and all right, so there he is. Now I should probably glue, I ain't gonna glue that bottom because that'll be okay. I want it to be kind of flowy and move. So that looks cool. I might could go, I don't know. I think the bottom's fine. It looks good. Let me bump the camera up a little. All right, see, that looks really cool. Now, I may, let me see here. I might kind of glue this down a little bit. Yeah, I think it needs a little bit like this. And I'll do that on the other side too, just so it don't, I kind of like the flowiness, but they didn't really flow a whole lot. I'm gonna kind of glue this down a little bit. Because I want it to always look good. I want it to always be in a good position. All right, and I don't even care about these little, what I call spider web things. I'm actually going to leave that on there. All right, so that's cool. He just looks like he's got spider webs on it. And I don't mind the fabric fraying. That just looks really good with the fabric fraying. And look, here comes Scooby with his hurt ear. I'm so mad about the ear. Oh my gosh, I'm so mad. I just can't even deal with that right now or I'm going to get irritated. But the 10,000 volt ghost fell off the roof and hit him. And that's how he chipped his ear. I'm so mad about it. But anyway, this looks good. Scooby to the side. This is looking so good. So now I'm going to cut out a little face out of felt and just glue it on there and we'll check him out. Okay, so here is the Green Phantom, and he goes by different names. I'm just going to call him the Green Phantom. Now I'm going to get him spinning so we can check him out all the way around. He just gave me a hard time with the face. That orange paint, I don't know how many layers I had to put on there, but it took forever to get that paint to look like orange. Like I had to actually, what I finally figured out was put a layer of Mod Podge over it, and that paint finally started looking the way I wanted it to. It's just that felt really soaks up the paint. You can do layers and layers. You could go so many layers that you use up the entire bottle of paint. I cannot get over how felt absorbs paint, but I about lost my mind doing that. I didn't think I was ever going to get it, but I'm just so glad I thought of the Mod Podge because that kind of put like a layer on it that kept it from soaking up the paint. Now, shredding this is like a million times better. You kind of saw in the other clips how that looked before. I just took my scissors and just, cut that up through there like it is. I mean, he just looks so good. He's so iconic and so Scooby Doo. And of course, I painted his eyes and mouth with that neon paint that will glow in the black light. And I'm going to get him close so you can hear the little chain. Because if you watch this episode, it just has that little chain noise. And I just like that it's a real chain and it has that little sound to it. He just looks amazing. I love the hands. I went over those with black watered down paint. I kind of went down under the arms with some watered down paint just to give it some age. Because I noticed in the cartoons it's sort of black under the sleeve. And he's just so good. This episode is such a fun episode. If you want to just watch one episode of Scooby Doo, this is such a good episode to watch. It's got a fun storyline to it. And so I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe so you can see the other characters that I've been making. And so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.